everybody, it's Kathy Champion with Random Acts of Crafting, and welcome back to my craft room. I have a little project this morning that I want to bring to you, and this is going to be something that you can actually use on your desk, or you can give these away as gifts, or if you do craft fairs, this would be a good little idea. Now, I cannot take full credit for this design, and I believe Edith Wray did this on her site, and also I think she linked that scrimpingmummy.com out of the UK had this on her channel. Toby, I am so sorry. My dog automatically, I don't know why he thinks he has to bark when I'm talking and videoing, but he does. But nevertheless, this project is a really simple little project to pull together, and you only need one 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper to make the actual little holder, and you'll see where I'm going with this as we go. But this can hold a post-it note, or you can make your own little tablet of paper to go in it, and we'll get to that as we move on. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut our pieces, and so we're going to start off with our cardstock, and this is going to be 3 3/4 by 11. So we've got our 11-inch this way, so we need it 3 1/4, or 3 3/4, so 3 and it's almost 4 inches, so 3 3/4 would be right there. Let's butt it up against that top and make sure we're nice and even, and then we are just going to cut. Now, my blade is not working good. I cut some magnet sheets with my blade, not thinking, and I don't have another blade to put in here. So this is what happens when you misuse your blade. So I am going to show you what I do whenever I have this happen and I don't have a new blade to replace. I literally just take my nail file and I do this. And I might just change out my trimmer for this project, because I love my Cricut trimmer, but I do not have a blade for it. My husband had gone looking for blades the other day and could not find them. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have to go online and order me a couple and let that be that. But you can take a nail file, and as you can see, that cleans that up quite a bit, and that will make your piece of paper where it is usable. So let me go ahead and grab my other trimmer, because this isn't working. I have 2 Fiskars trimmers, and my small one is the one that I dedicate to chipboard, so it too is not working well. But I have this one. This was actually my very first trimmer that I bought, and it is a Fiskars, and it has the little swing out arm. It has a much larger base here, as you can see, and it has these little tracks that you can replace, and the tracks have to be replaced probably more than the blade, because it's a rotary blade. I don't know if you can see that, but that's a rotary blade right there. But anyway, we're going to use this for the rest of this video. So we need this to be 3 3/4. So we've got our 3 3/4 here, and by 11. So this is one piece. Now we're going to need another piece, and I'm going to clean this piece up just ever so slightly to get that frayed edge off of it. And see, I got that whole little, well, almost. Let's try that one more time. Yes, that got rid of that frayed edge. Really, really good. Now, if you like a Fiskars trimmer, I would say this is probably the better one. I love it. I know they have other ones that are bigger. There's such a big line of trimmers on the market, but this one does do a good job, and I thought my blade was dull, but it was actually this track that needed replacing. So I do have another one to go in here if this one goes bad, and I think I have another rotary blade as well. So until I can get a blade for my Cricut trimmer, I will probably be using this one. But anyway, now we need to cut this piece 4 3/4. So 4 3/4 would be right there, and I think that's about where we're at. No, maybe not quite. That would be 4 1/4, 4 1/2. Yep, we're going to have to get another piece of paper because I think I cut that one too small. So let me grab another piece of our black cardstock. And I'm actually using a heavier cardstock for this. This is the Brutus Monroe in Raven. Raven is your black, and the Midnight is a very dark blue. I love this cardstock for the fact it is 110 pound weight, I believe. It doesn't say on here, but I believe it's 110, which is a very, very sturdy cardstock, to say the least. So we're going to get another piece out of there. I messed this piece up, but I will put this into my scrap bin, and it will definitely get used again. Alright, so we're going to start over. Well, we're not going to start over because this piece we have cut. So that's our first piece, and again, that was 3 3/4 by 11. So now we're going to move on to this piece, and this needs to be 4 3/4 by 7 1/4. So I'm going to cut it at 4. That's 4 1/2. That should be... This trimmer is hard to read. It really is. Okay, this is 4. That's 4 1/4, 4 1/2, 4 3/4. Okay, so I'm going to cut this at 4 3/4. And then we're going to turn this, and we're going to cut this at 7 1/4. So 7 1/4 is right there. Okay, those two pieces, and now we need one more piece that is going to be 2 1/2. So we're going to go over here to 2 1/2. By 2 1/2. So we're just going to make this little square. 2 1/2 by 2 1/2. And don't fret over the measurements. I'll make sure that I put all of these measurements in my description below the video, so you can actually go there and get the sizes and everything. Now we are going to have to cut mats, but I want to assemble this first before we go into the mats and that sort of thing. So we're going to need to do a little scoring, so I'm going to pull out my scoreboard. And I am going to use my Teflon bone folder because it's my favorite little go-to. Now we're going to put this in here. It doesn't matter which side you put it on because it's 2 1/2 by 2 1/2. So any way you put it in, it's still going to come up on the 2 1/2 measurement. And we're going to score this every 1/2 inch. So let me get over here where I can see. I'm making sure that y'all can see, and I'm just going to go, I'm going to hold it with my thumb right here, and I'm going to score it at 1/2, at 1, at 1 1/2, at 2, and of course the last one is at 2 1/2. So you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 score marks on this. You can lay that to the side, and then we're going to do the next piece. Let's go ahead and move to this 11 inch. We're going to put this in at the 11 inch side, and we're going to score, we are going to score at 4. I got my notes, so that's what I'm looking at. We're going to score at 4. I'm going to score that again because, like I said, this is very heavy-duty cardstock, and sometimes it takes a little bit more of pressing into that score line to get that where you need it. Then we're going to do it 8, 9, and also at 10. Now that's all the scoring you need to do on this. You can lay that to the side. Now we need to score this piece. Now this piece needs to be scored on the short side at 1/2 inch on both sides. So we're going to come down the side and score at 1/2, and we're going to turn it. This just makes it easier for me. You can do it at the other end and count back 1/2 inch, but I'm just going to turn it and do it that way. Now we're going to turn it onto the 7 1/4 side, and we are going to score it at 4 and 4.5. So 4 and 4.5. Okay, that's all of our scoring that we need to do, so we can put our scoreboard up. And then we're just going to do a little work. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this 2.5 by 2.5 inch piece, and let's just go ahead and fold and crease our lines really well, just like so. And then what we want to do with this is going to make the cylinder that's going to actually hold a pen. So I am going to put some art glitter glue right on this strip right here. And I don't think I need to zoom y'all in. I think you got the gist of this. So I am going to just load that up, making sure that I have enough of glue on the edges to make this adhere. So all we're going to do is just bring that over like so, and then just press it down. And I usually press it in both directions. And now you can just lay this over to the side because we're done with that until we get the rest of it assembled. So now we have the 7.5 piece. And we are actually, let's see, this was the 7.5 by 4 3/4. So what we're going to do with this is we're just going to go ahead and crease our fold lines. This is the first thing you want to do when you're working on any type of project like this, is go ahead and fold those crease lines. Get them folded down and over, and then this makes putting your project together so much easier. So I'm going to fold this one down and crease it really well. And then we're going to need to do just a tiny bit of trimming. There's not much trimming on this at all. So I'm just going to grab a small pair of scissors, and these are my cutter bees. And I am going to come in on the score line right here. And I'm going to cut up on both of these score lines like so, both sides. And that's going to make you a tab. And like we do a lot of times, we're going to take a little of the bulk out just by going at an angle and just cut that out ever so slightly like that. And that's what you should have. And now I'm going to turn around and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm just going to go in and clip up to that score line and clip up to the score line again. And then we're just going to go in and wedge a little bit of that bulk out like so. And the same thing on the other side. Just very slightly like that. And this is what your piece should look like. So now we're going to need to assemble this. But before we do, I'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and we have gotten this piece folded, and if you will tuck your little tabs in like so, and we're going to put glue on this side of those, and we are going to go ahead. Before we glue this though, let's use a corner rounder if you have one. I have this little EK Tools one. If you have the We Are Memory Keepers, but we're just going to go in and we're going to round the top corners. This is what will stick out of the top and be seen. So I'm just looking to make sure I'm getting this perfectly like I want them. And then we're just going to glue this down. And what I want to do is we've got this little piece here that we made, this little cylinder, and we're going to put that in first before we put any glue on it. And what we're going to do is we're going to put glue on two places. We're going to do it on the side first. And what I'm going to do is, if I don't drop everything, I am going to glue on the back side where it was glued together at. You see, there's where it was glued together, right there. So I'm going to put glue on that side, and that way I'm going to stick it down into here, making sure you don't go over that score line. Just butt it up to that score line and down to the score line like so, and then do a little trial run to make sure it does come together, and it does. Okay, So now what you want to do is you want to put some glue on these little flaps. So I'm going to put a little glue there, a little bit here, and we're going to go in and put glue on this, just a little bit, and you want to press that down where it's, and I'll just use an ink pen. You can use whatever you have, but I'm going to just press that with an ink pen to get that adhered. Then I'm going to take this piece and bring it up to it. And now we're going to fold these little flaps in like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put glue on these flaps right here and glue that together. So put a little bit of art glitter glue on the inside because you don't want it to show where you're putting it together at. And we are going to take that up and over and then just hold it. Hold it until it adheres, and you might want to just press it a little bit. Mash that down like so. So now you have your base of this made. I got a little bit of a hangover right there, and I think it's where my trimmer did not cut this. So I am going to use my little Tim Holtz snips, and I'm going to snip that off just like that. There. Now that made that nice and neat and square. So now all we have to do is finish the base. This piece that is 11 by 3 3/4, we're just going to do our folds on here, and we're going to fold up and go ahead and give it a good press, and then we're going to fold back like that and press it down. Get back over here so y'all can see what I'm doing. And then you're going to do the other one up. So you're going to do them every other one. It's going to be up and down and up and down. So when you finish, you're going to have something like this. See, it's going to be a mountain, a valley, and then a mountain, like that. So the last one we have to do is this. This is the one that was in the middle, the score line in the middle. And what you want to do is you want to fold these so that you have this one little place that is up, and that's going to glue down to this. And this is what's going to make your little stand for this to sit on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press that down, and I'm going to press it really good using my bone folder. And then I'm going to put glue just on this piece right here. And I do want to remind everybody that if you have not gotten your art glitter glue for the winter months, now's the time to do it. It will not be long before any of the people that carry art glitter glue. I know that Edith Wray on scrapbookingwithme.com, she has art glitter glue, and so does Maymay Made It. So if you need art glitter glue, I would say get it and get it now. As you can see, this sits up, so it gives you a nice little place and a base for this to sit on, just like so. I think this is just so cute. And we haven't even decorated it yet. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put, I think I'm going to put glue on the back of this. So I'm just going to come in and put a generous amount of art glitter glue, making sure I get around the corners, the edges, because you don't want this to come apart. And then I am going to sit it down to the bottom of that little easel, and I'm going to line it up to the top, making sure that it's nice and even. And then I'm going to press it with my bone folder. I'm going to go in, and I am just going to adhere that down as best I can all the way around. Now you got a little bit of seepage on the glue, but that's okay. Remember, art glitter glue does dry clear, so that's going to go away. So now all we have to do is cut our mats and decorate. Now, I found in my stash, I had this I'd Rather Be Crafting cardstock. I thought this was so pretty. It looks good on the black. And I found this little saying that was on one of the pages, and it says, "In a perfect world, crafting supplies are free, chocolate is healthy, and crafting makes you skinny." And I think any of us crafters could appreciate that little saying. So that's going to be a focal point on the front of my my little note holder. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to cut my mats, and let's see, I can move some stuff out of my way so I can get to my notes. Our mats for the front are going to be 2.5 by 3.5. So, and the inside mat is going to be 3.5 by 1 1/4. That's going to be your little mat that's going to sit in here. And I think I'm going to do that out of the teal because I think that's really going to look cute. So let's go ahead and get our trimmer back out. And we are going to trim that front mat and then also the larger mat out of this beautiful floral paper. So let me grab my trimmer. And just so y'all know, I did do this off camera. And I used the Gina Marie Die, and I'll tell you what the name of that one was. It was in my rectangle dies, and it is called, let's see if I can find it. There we go. This is called the Frilly Lace Nested Rectangle Die Set, and I used the smallest one to create this beautiful piece right here. And then I cut this out of a piece of the paper that was inside the pack and just glued it down. I just wanted it to have a very good focal point on the front, and I love that little saying. Like I said, I think all of us crafters would wish for that. So let me get my notes back up here where I can see them, and we are going to go ahead and trim this piece. Was it this piece? Yeah, I think we can do this piece. Yeah. So this is the mat for the inside, and it needs to be cut at 3.5. So 3.5 would be right there. And we need to cut it at 1 1/4. So 1 1/4 is going to be right there. And this piece is going to live right in here like so. And it's just going to be a cute little place, and you don't want anything against that. You could put a little sticker or something as long as it was flat. But now we're going to cut the other front mat, and that's going to be cut out of this. And I'm going to get this little branding strip off of here first so that we can have access to the page without having that little branding strip bothering us. And now I am going to bring this over, and we are going to cut a piece that is 3.5 by 2 1/2. So we're going to go to 3.5. Let's do 2.5. We'll do 2.5 this way. That does not look right. The mat for the front, I don't think my notes are correct, so let me measure this. This is going to be 2 3/4, so 2.5. It is 2.5 by 3.5. 2.5 by 3.5. Okay, so the measurements are correct. I was second guessing myself, and it's better to measure twice and cut once than it is to mess up your paper. So 2.5 by 3.5, and let's cut it this way. 3.5. And the reason I flipped that is I had that little piece of white on that piece, and I didn't want that. And so this is going to live right here on the front. Isn't that cute? that is coming together just beautifully. I'm loving it. So I think that's all of our mats that we're going to need. So let's go ahead. I'm going to fold this down so that I can glue this on. And I'm going to use some art glitter glue. And let's just put a generous amount. Not too much. We don't want it to ooze, but we definitely want it to stick, especially on the edges. And I'm going to turn that around because it looks like to me it needs to be turned. And you know, that's totally a preference of what you like. You might like your flowers or whatever you decorate going. But if you are dealing with any paper that has a pattern to it that needs to be put in one way or the other, just be mindful of that. What did I do with my bone folder? It was hiding out. I'm going to go in here and just press this down using my bone folder. Just like that. And that looks really cute. Now we're going to take this piece and we're going to glue it in about there. And I'm going to just go ahead and spread some glue on this. And like I told you earlier, I will have all of these measurements in the description below. And that way, hopefully, everybody can look at it and write these measurements down for yourself and, you know, make some of these. These would make fantastic gifts for Christmas. You could decorate these with Christmas paper or, you know, whatever paper that you like. I did not like the way that glued down, so, well, it's already adhered. Let's see if I can raise it up with the spatula. If I can, I'm going to reposition this. Okay, we did make a little bit of a mess of it, but like I told you, do not fear making a mess. I'm going to throw that piece away, and I have another piece right here that I am going to cut just a little edge off of, and I'm going to glue that in. I did not like the way that positioned down, so for that reason I am redoing this. I think I'm going to take it to about there. Okay. And sometimes, you know, when you make mistakes or something doesn't come together just like you like it, you have to kind of regroup. And like I told you, I leave my mistakes in so that you can see that I am human. Just because I'm on YouTube doesn't mean I don't make mistakes. I see crafters that looks like everything they touch comes together perfectly, and it does in the editing world, but not in the real crafting world. So I'm going to slide that down in there, and this time I'm going to slide it over just a hair. There. Yeah, I like that much better. I think that works. And I want to show you how this will work. We are going to do some decorations on it, but if you have some sticky notes, let me see if I can find a new pack like this. You can put a set of sticky notes in here. There's also a way to make your own sticky notes, and you can put a pen in here. And this is just a great thing to have sitting on your desk, and it sits up just like this. So you can see how cute that is. But we're not finished because we're going to put some embellishments. The first thing I want to do is glue this down on it. I'm going to leave those sticky notes in there so I'll have something to glue against. So that way when I press on this, I will have some a place to stick it. So I'm just going to put some glue right here on the back of this, and I'm going to try not to get it into those little lacy places because I don't want it oozing out of those little holes. So I'm going to bring this right to the bottom, centering it in the middle, and just pressing it down right there. That is so cute. I am going to love this on my desk. Now I have some little stickers here that are some little birds. And I'm thinking I want to put a little bird maybe right there or right here. Maybe down on this corner. I like this little bird. But I also like that one. But I think I'm going to use this one because I think the colors are going to coordinate better. So I'm going to stick him right there. And we are going to put one of these little tweets that looks like little, I don't know, I think that goes with the bird that's flying. So let's put that back on there. We can put a tweet on here. Let's take and put tweet right across here. Now, if you don't have these exact stickers, because these are old, I've had these for, I don't even know. As you can see, I've used a lot of them, and I've got a couple left. But you use what you got. If you've got a paper pack, you could very easily do the paper pack with something in it. I thought the little bird was cute on there. You could go further and decorate this a lot more. You can put any type of pin in there that you like. But that's pretty much the gist of this little holder. And I have to thank, again, Edith Wray. She has a tutorial on her channel for this very same item, but she does decorate hers a little different. In fact, here's one that I did a while back, and this was the one I did very similar to hers. And I did glitter up my little flowers and my little bluebird. And we could put something, you know, up in here. We could put a little, let's see if we can find something, a sticker or something that we could, how about this one that says crafting is my superpower. I like that. And it's small enough that I think that will fit there, and it would be super cute. So, I love the stickers in these packs of paper. They make things come to life, no doubt. So let's just peel that off. I'm going to take my sticky notes out, and I'm going to put this right here at the top. Crafting is my superpower. I think this is just too cute not to have on your desk. And anytime that you need to write down a note or whatever, you got this. And the construction of it was very simple, straightforward, and I think it turned out just beautiful. So if you make one of these, please share it over on my Facebook page. I will link Edith Wray's page onto mine in the description below, so if you want to go check out her videos, please do. And again, I want to thank you for tuning in for this installment, and we will probably come back tomorrow and we'll make a beautiful card. I have some cards that I want to do. I colored this yesterday, and I thought this would make a beautiful, beautiful card front. Haven't decided exactly what I want to do with that yet, but I'm still working on it. So stay tuned. Again, I want to say how much I appreciate every one of you. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. Just go down below this video, hit that subscribe button. Please give me a like and a share, and if you would, leave me a comment. I love to hear from my subscribers. It means so much to me. It is an encouragement when I read that you have learned something new, that you've learned how to make something new. That's what I want to do. And if I open your mind to just an inspiration to try something different, please share that with me. And like I always say, be kind to someone today. Be a blessing to someone today. Tell someone that they mean the world to you. You'll never know what it might mean to them. And we don't know what's going on in people's minds. We know the suicide rate is skyrocketing, especially with our young people today. So just try to encourage someone. Show them the love of God that you have in your heart for them. And until we meet again, may God bless you, and may everything that you do and say bring glory to Him. Thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, bye-bye.